Yeah, I confess, Father, I confess, 'cause I've been living wrong.
What's going on, YouTube? I'm Vexer with Twinstown, and I'm back on a Boomkin. Made a Boomkin for a long time. Did all last season, all last 2 seasons as Boomkin, and then I just didn't really play Boomkin this Legion expansion because I just felt like they weren't as strong as they could have been. So I just started rolling with the flavor of the month. But I started off this channel with Boomkin videos, and I'm gonna bring them back because they made some awesome changes. So this is gonna be a 7.1 Boomkin PvP guide, and I'm gonna go over my spec, rotation, how to set up your burst, and how to melt some faces off. So first tier, you got Force of Nature, Warrior Valoon, and Star-Lord. Force of Nature no longer gives your Trents the root, which used to be crazy good in previous expansions because that Force of Nature could peel really well. And then Star-Lord reduces the cast time of effective spells. It's okay. It's more geared towards PvE. But for PvP, I go with Warrior Loon. Your next 2 Lunar Strikes are instant cast. It's only a 45-second cooldown. And most of the time, those are going to be empowered. So it's going to be doing a lot of extra burst damage. Now this next tier, all of these are good. Wild Charge, if you're in bear form, you can charge an enemy, and that root that it gives them, a 4-second root, is not dispellable. So the only way they can get out of it is by either shifting or freedoming or doing something. And then Renewal, straight up 30% of your maximum health on a 2-minute cooldown. It's kind of a long cooldown, but it's good if you're getting trained. But I like to go with the Splash Beast. Splash Beast is like a 25-yard teleport forward, activating cat form, increase your movement speed by 50% for 4 seconds. And the 30-second cooldown is what I like. So you can displace a beast to get out of a lot of situations, or if you can displace a beast in to land some CC. So that's mainly what I go with, is Displacer Beast. Now, in the next tier, you have Mighty Bash, Mass Entanglement, and Typhoon. All of these are viable depending on the situation. I like to use Mighty Bash, 50-second cooldown, 5-second stun. Mass Entanglement is also great when you're fighting like heavy melee, because it will entangle all of them. And especially like with a Demon Hunter or like a Warrior or something, that like where a root, if they don't have anything to get out of it or dispel, that's a straight up like 8-second CC that they can't do anything. And then also I like Typhoon if you're playing on like Blade's Edge, or you're doing an RBG where you can just knock people off cliffs. Now the next tier, you got Soul of the Forest, Incarnation, and Stellar Flare. Once again, all of these can work pretty well. Soul of the Forest is alright. But I like to run with Incarnation, 3-minute cooldown, and it basically replaces your Celestial Alignment. Now, if you pick Soul of the Forest, you still have Celestial Alignment, and increase the damage of your Solar and Lunar Empowerments by 15%, and reduces the actual power cost of Starfall. This is good, but I'm geared more towards burst damage, getting like up in their face. And then Stellar Flare is good if you're running, say, like LSD or one of the dot cleaves. Now the next tier is Shooting Stars, Astral Communication, and Blessing of the Ancients. Once again, if you're running like that LSD style where you're just trying to rot them down, you don't want to go with Shooting Stars. With Shooting Stars, all your Moonfire and Sunfire dots have a 10% chance to do more damage and generate you Astral Power, which is awesome because you're dotting everything in an LSD cleave. And then Astral Communication just straight up generates 75 Astral Power, which is 75% of your bar of Astral Power. And then Blessing of the Ancients, I don't really use. I find like these two are far better and will generate you more Astral Power in the long run. And now this next tier, Fury of Valoon, Stellar Drift, and Nature's Balance. Fury of Valoon is good, it does a lot of damage, but one, it drains your Astral Power, and it's hard to keep it on the target, especially in PvP when they're moving around. Stellar Drift increases Starfall radius and Starfall damage, and allows you to cast while moving within Starfall's radius, which is pretty nice. Say you're getting trained, and you can throw down Starfall and be casting your heals while you're moving. And then Nature's Balance. Nature's Balance, every time you Solar Wrath and Lunar Strike, it extends the duration of your Moonfire and Starfire abilities. This is good for PvE. I don't really use it in PvP. So this is the spec I'm running with for PvP. Warrior Balloon, Displacer Beast, Resto Affinity, Mighty Bash, Incarnation, Astral Communication, and Stellar Drift. Now my honor talents, I just leveled up my Boomkin, so I still haven't gotten to max honor yet. But I'm running with Gladiator's Medallion, Mind Quickness. Mind Quickness is going to be the best out of all of these three because your Train of Thought increases damage by 15%, and then unless you're attacked. If you haven't been attacked for 8 seconds, you gain Train of Thought. A lot of the times they like to train the Boomkin, so I almost never find that up. Mind Quicknessing, straight up 6% haste. And now Initiation, critical strike damage of your abilities and attacks increased by 30% on targets above 80% health. For PvP, I'd rather have the 6% haste. Alright, now next here, Iron Feather. Now, Iron Feather armor basically increases the armor you have in Moonkin form and reduces the chance you'll be critically hit by melee attacks by 20%. This is awesome when you're fighting against a melee cleave because you can sit in Boomkin form and still do damage, and you don't have to switch bear form and just kind of like sit there and hope that your healer is going to get you back up. Iron Feather armor is awesome for that. And now if you're fighting Caster Cleave, I would go with Celestial Guardian. While in bear form, you take 30% less damage from spells and receive 20% increased healing. Celestial Guardian is also good against a melee cleave as well, because you can sit bear form and you're receiving 20% increased healing, which is going to be crazy good. Now, Protector of the Grove, I really don't do it unless it's like 2v2 where we're not running with a healer and I'm having to heal my partner. But most of the time, they're going me anyway. So now, this next one, Celestial Burn, is what I'm running right now. I think I might go Celestial Downpour when I unlock it, or Eclipse. I think I'm actually probably going to go with Eclipse, because Eclipse is whenever I cast Celestial Alignment or my Incarnation. One, it reduces the cooldown of it, and Celestial Alignment summons a beam of light at your location, granting 70% reduction in silence and interrupts for 10 seconds. That's awesome. So when you're bursting, you're basically always going to be able to get all your damage off. Now, this next one, Prickling Thorns. When your Entangling Roots is dispelled or ends, take 111,000 damage. I think I'm going to go with either Moonkin Aura, because I'm going to be Star Surging a lot, especially with my Cleave style. Whenever I Star Surge, allies within 40 yards get their spell critical strike chance increased by 15% for 12 seconds, which is awesome. Great buff for your team. And then Dying Stars is good. Sunfire Moonfire generates 8 astral power when they're dispelled, and they get dispelled kind of often. Now this next tier, all of these are good. It depends on the situation. I like running Clone because, especially with the burst style, you burst someone down and you throw him in a clone. The healer blows all of his healing cooldowns to try to get him up, but he's staying in a clone and can't do anything. And you just keep cloning him until you can get CC on that healer. Deep Roots, great against melee, because your Entangling Roots no longer, like, damage won't break your Entangling Roots. So you can Entangling Root someone, and unless it gets dispelled, you are chunking into damage. And then Fairy Swarm, great against Stealthies, and also when you need a peel. And it also prevents any use of weapons for 8 seconds and reduces their movement speed. So, say someone Warrior's bursting, throw a Fairy Swarm on them, it's going to negate a lot of damage. Alright, so real quick, I'm going to go into the burst rotation and how I like to line up my bursts off the bat. So I'm coming off in Stealth, and I'm a troll, so my burst macro is Incarnation and Berserk. So I'm going to hit my Incarnation and then start casting my moons in. I'm not going to worry about dots. I'm not going to worry about Star Surges until I get that full moon off, unless they kick me or they start getting on me. But most of the time I can get a full moon off without them really even noticing. So, and the cool thing about running Incarnation is when you hit Incarnation, it automatically activates Moonkin form, and there's no GCD. So, new moon, half moon, full moon, and then once that full moon hits, chunk of Star Surge, do your Astral Communion, Star Surge, Warrior Balloon, Lunar Strike, and we were peaking up at 400k DPS. And then after that, you have another Star Surge. That is crazy amount of damage, especially in PvP. If you're able to get that full moon off and then just start chunking Star Surges in, and then using your Astral Communication for more Star Surges, and then Warrior of Elune, which will do your next 2 Lunar Strikes, which are already empowered, and generating you enough astral power to use another Star Surge. So it's a lot of damage, a lot of bursts. And in the PvP scenario, I do keep my dots up on most all the targets, as much as I can, at least. And my main priority, if I'm casting a moon. I don't really care if Solar Wrath's empowered or Lunar Strike's empowered. I'm casting my moons. And if my moon's on cooldown, that's when I make sure my dots are maintained and make sure all my Star Surges are dumped, or if I'm trying to build up Star Surge in order to start chunking someone down. And then my moon. I always want to be cycling through my moon, because full moon does so much damage, especially when you line it up with Incarnation, Astral Communication, and Warrior of Elune. Like, it will close to do globaling someone. So that is my base setup. Running through everything. And then I think I actually skipped this tier. I'm running Resto Affinity right now. Resto Affinity is good if you don't have a healer. If you have a healer, I would go with Guarding Affinity. Reduces all damage taken by 6%. Now, the cool thing about Resto Affinity is you can heal, and you can stay in, with the Ysera's Gift, you don't really have to, like, knowledgeably heal. And you have Swiftmen, which is a lot of healing. You have your Rejuvenation. And now baseline is Regrowth. So if I don't spec Resto Affinity, I still have Regrowth, and I can cast it while in Moonkin form, which is awesome, because Moonkin form is giving me like 250% increased armor, and with the Iron Feather armor. So that's really good. Now, if you have a healer, I run with Guardian Affinity. Guardian Affinity is awesome, because when I'm in bear form, I'm not just helpless. I don't just sit there anymore. I can still cast Moonfire, and it won't break bear form. So I can apply dots to everything while I'm sitting in bear form. And it's going to help save a lot of time rather than tab targeting Moonfire everything while I'm getting trained. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into some duels and show you guys Boomkin in some duels and just show how much burst they actually have. Alright, hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so before we jump into the duels, I'm going to show you guys a little trick that you can use when, I see a lot of Boomkins struggling with this, is when you get kicked on your moons, especially a 1v1. When you get kicked on your moons, they really don't know what to do. But they switched the whole lockout system. So here, say I'm casting a full moon, he kicks me on it, I can throw him into a clone. And then you time it just right to where your full moon will go off right as soon as that clone ends. So that's another way you can get your moons off, and then you go into your burst damage. So his kick really didn't do much to you. Alright, so here I'm going to jump into some of the duels. Hope you guys enjoy.
Were you intoxicated past the point of knowing what was going on? Better yet, don't forget, leave the keys on the TV set. Hoping you're gone from the corner bar. Here we are after dark, knocking back the maker's mark, scratching up the dollars from my buddy's car. And lean on Sheena, she leans on me a lot. Hold on, hold on, hold on to what you've got. Intimidator, how'd you make her feel? Worse than she did before. And I heard you came back later, had the upstairs neighbors banging on the floor. Better yet, don't forget, leave the keys on the TV set. Hoping you're gone from the corner bar. Here we are after dark, knocking back the maker's mark, scratching up the dollars from my buddy's car. And lean on Sheena, she leans on me a lot. Hold on, hold on, hold on to what you got. Hold on to what you got.
Alright, well there it is, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed Boomkin PvP Guide 7.1. Like, comment, subscribe, join the town, and let us know in the comments what you guys want to see next. Stay tuned for more Boomkin PvP videos. Alright, peace.